If you've been watching My Hero Academia, you've probably seen Deku struggle to hold up a steel beam, exerting a certain amount of force, whereas Mikasa from Attack on Titan is able to hold 2 steel beams without breaking a sweat. So the question is, who holds more weight? Now let's do some calculations. First, we need to figure out how long the steel beams are. We're going to do this by using estimation, using their heights and the length. So Deku's around 5'4". Luckily for him, we get a full frame picture of him holding up the thing. After some quick measurements, that makes the beam around 5 Dekus long, which makes Deku's steel beam, no pun intended, around 26 feet long. Now steel H-beams weigh between 13 pounds to 65 pounds per foot, and that thing looks more on the heavier side, so let's take that one, which gets us around 1,700 pounds, which isn't a lot for Deku to lift, but it's enough to make him struggle and get stuck. Now let's see how much Mikasa is actually lifting. Mikasa is actually around 5'9". Now doing some estimation, the steel beam that she carries is actually around 3 Mikasas long. Now a 1920s European rail profile actually weighed between 131 pounds per yard to 151 pounds per yard. Now Mikasa's height, which is 5'9", using estimation getting 17-foot rail profile is around 5.6 yards, multiplied by 151, which only equates to around 850 pounds. Mind you, Mikasa is holding 2 steel beams, or should I say rail profiles, so we multiply 850 by 2, and then we get around 1,700 pounds that Mikasa is lifting on her shoulders with ease. Mind you, Deku is struggling. I guess the question is, who is exerting more force? Now let's explain force. Force is the push or pull of an object. Gravity is pushing down on you all the time at 9.8 meters a second. Because you're stronger than the force of gravity, you are able to oppose this force, jump, hop, skip, run, whatever. When you add weights to that, it's a different story. Mikasa is lifting 2 steel profiles, which have a total weight of around 1,700 pounds. The force that she's opposing to lift those steel beams in the first place is 7,500 newtons. Now she's opposing 7,500 newtons constantly and with ease. Now Deku's opposing a similar force, a 1,700 pound steel H-beam. Gravity has it accelerating at 9.8 meters per second. It weighing at 1,700 pounds makes it around the same force of 7,500 newtons. Mind you, that's not any more that Mikasa had to lift in order to put it on her shoulder. She continues to oppose that force as she walks. Now then Deku's not really able to overcome the force that is 7,500 newtons. He drops the steel beam on the platform and leaves. Mikasa is continually walking at around 2 meters per second with 2 beams on her shoulder. Mikasa is using at least 1,500 newtons of force to push forward with the steel beam on her shoulder, which is upward force of 7,500 newtons. Mikasa is able to move with the steel beam and lift it up with relatively ease, collectively around 9,500 newtons of force for Mikasa. At that point, Deku's only able to put out around 75,000 newtons of force and no more than that. So to recap, then Deku is not lifting any more force that Mikasa has to do in order to lift that steel beam. Deku is not able to exert any more force to lift it any higher, while Mikasa is able to lift the beam and continue to walk. For her, that's only a fraction of her power, whereas Deku is exerting a lot of force that he can't even lift on his own at that time. So yeah, Mikasa still solos.